Hello everyone, it is Erin Flitter here, and I am here with another unpopular bullet journal opinion video where I'm reacting to your unpopular opinions. I think this is probably going to be the last one. I believe this is number 4. I think it's number 4. So I think this is going to be the last one, mostly because I think that a lot of these are getting on the same wavelength now. So maybe they're not that unpopular, but some are generally unpopular. So anyways, I'm going to look off to the right here while I'm reading these, just because I still have not figured out my filming setup in this office. So my computer's over here. Okay. So the first one is that the bullet journal is just about tasks and to-dos. I use mine for schedules and meal planning mostly. I agree that there's seemingly this giant focus on that a bullet journal is a to-do list for the day. But for most people, I think the bullet journal system is more about what's going on in your day and tracking the things that you want to track. Maybe those things that you're tracking is your to-do list, that you are tracking the completion of items during your day. I don't think that it's necessarily needs to be a to-do list. So if you are trying to keep up with your schedule, meaning for me, I like put my my meetings in my bullet journal so that I know when they're going on each day, things like that. Or you are tracking something of some sort. So for this person, it is tracking what meals that you want to complete during the week, or logging the meals that you complete during the week. So I think the idea behind a task list or a to-do is not necessarily correct, even though there's a giant focus on it in the bullet journal method. I think it's really tracking. I think it's a tracking mechanism that you're writing things down and you're tracking it. So I think that that's more how my brain thinks about bullet journaling versus a to-do list. I hate when people apologize for non-perfect spreads. Dude, it's your bujo. Hands down, absolutely agree. And I do this, so I know I'm guilty of it, especially for a lot of people that are creators or sharing their journal with others. For you, I feel like if you're just sitting down with your bullet journal at your desk, it's not necessarily something that you are apologizing to yourself for. Like, you're not saying, oh, I'm sorry, I messed up this line. You just kind of deal, unless you're a perfectionist, and that's a whole other ballgame. But when you're sharing it online with others, I think a lot of people tend to make excuses or preemptively provide justification in case someone says something, because honestly, as a culture, we kind of suck towards each other. And I see this in bullet journaling communities sometimes. Overwhelmingly, I do think it leans more towards the positive, that anything that you put out in the world, more people are going to be positive than negative, but the negative comments stick with you longer. So you're kind of like preemptively trying to justify anything that's not perfect, so you apologize in advance. And I think it's a really hard culture thing when it comes down to, because the world kind of sucks, I'm going to be honest. It's okay to stop using the bujo system if it no longer meets your needs. Agree. I never see any point in using anything that, I mean, unless you have to for work. There are things that I do for work, and I don't see the need for them. However, in your normal everyday life, if it's something that you don't have to do, then don't do it. You know, if it's not meeting any of your needs, don't do it. Of course, we are a society. If doing your taxes don't meet your needs, you still have to do your taxes, right? But sorry, this is just me feeling annoyed with having to reply to taxes. Anyways, so yeah, if it's not meeting your needs, don't do it by all means. I would probably suggest, as someone that's used the bullet journal system for lots and lots of years, try altering it first and see if maybe it's not a traditional bullet journal system that's meeting your needs. Maybe something else is meeting your needs. Or if you do a creative bullet journal, maybe go back to the traditional minimalist type of method of bullet journaling and see if that works. So I would try altering something prior to giving it up, because I have found myself falling back in love with bullet journaling over and over again because I've made tweaks to my system that have helped me in the long run. Times where I felt like this system isn't for me anymore. I just need something blah, blah, blah. But after I've made a couple tweaks, I'm like, yes, this is what I needed. So that's my suggestion, but take it or leave it. Take it with a grain of salt. I don't care. It's your system. Go for it. Archer and Olive is way too expensive and the shipping costs are insane. Archer and Olive is expensive. That's true. First of all, everyone knows here, I'm an affiliate. So, and I was on the design team. So I have a particular affinity and love for the Archer and Olive notebooks. And a lot of that stuff I did not have to personally pay for, because notebooks got sent to me or pens got sent to me. I assume that this person is international because they're talking about shipping costs. And I'll tell you something, as a business owner that ships internationally, it is expensive. So shipping costs that Archer and Olive does, it's just because shipping is really freaking expensive. For me to ship to Canada, I'm very close to Canada, by the way. For me to ship to Canada, a simple envelope of stickers, like this envelope of 6 ounces of stickers, costs $18 sometimes. $18! And even in the US, it can cost me up to $8 to do a simple envelope. So unfortunately, shipping's just freaking expensive. And honestly, as a small business, you can't always eat those costs. So unfortunately, shipping costs are insane, but I think that's just because the market is insane. In terms of their products, particularly, honestly, it's about you, right? Because if there is a car that I want, for example, well, if I want an Audi, then I'm going to have to justify the price in my brain, right? Or if I'm going to get a Honda, I don't know. I don't know really good car brands. So maybe those two things are off. Corvette. Let's go with a Corvette versus like a Honda Civic. So you have to be able to justify your own price and what is important to you. I use my bullet journal daily. So if a $35 journal lasts me 6 months, and this is kind of on par with planner systems. If you think about it, and Erin Condren, which I still don't like that company, or a Happy Planner, those 12-month to 18-month planners, those cost $70, $60 to $70. So you're doing the same thing with a bullet journal. So it's about you and justifying your own price. You know, if I want a Corvette and I can justify my own price and I have the means to do so, then I have the means to do so. So I guess it comes down to you at the end of the day. If it's too expensive for your life, then yeah, but it is a luxury brand and I really enjoy it. So I'm going to keep going with it. But then again, I have had a lot of notebooks given to me, so I actually don't need to buy many. Creativity and productivity are not opposite ends of the spectrum. Oh my God, shout it from the rooftop. Abso-freaking-lutely. They are not opposite ends of the spectrum. It drives me insane. And I actually talk about this in my creative block party class, which I will link below because that is currently on sale, because I talk about wellness in your journal. And I talk about studies that show that art leads to higher productivity and things like that. That 20 minutes of doodling can lead to better outcomes in your work performance. So it is not opposite ends of the spectrum. It can actually aid you in your productivity. So shout it from the freaking rooftop, honestly. Okay. It needs to be a pretty it needs to be pretty to be a bullet journal. No, doesn't need to be pretty to be a bullet journal. It absolutely does not. Bullet journal is about what you need to get out of your bullet journal. If you are just doing art, then yeah, that's more of a sketchbook. That's not a bullet journal. But if you are using art to combine with doing things throughout the day and marking them off and whatever else you need to do, then it's a bullet journal. I don't care what Ryder Carroll says. I don't care what anyone says. It doesn't need to be pretty, and pretty doesn't mean it's not functional. So make it function for you. At the end of the day, that's all that matters. A bullet journal doesn't have to have weekly planning in it to be considered a bullet journal. Yeah. I didn't do weekly planning for, I'll say, about 8 months. And I just started introducing weekly planning back into my bullet journal. But I didn't use it for 8 months. Did it make it any less of a bullet journal? Absolutely not. Is it part of the original bullet journal method? Yeah. But so is a future log. Not everyone uses a future log. So is that simple monthly that I do in my business bullet journal, where you just have a list, like the monthly, like my monthly schedule. Sneak peek, by the way, I have not released this video. This type of system for your month, that is the original bullet journal system, not a calendar. So if you do a calendar, that's not technically part of the bullet journal system. So yeah, it doesn't have to have it. It doesn't have to have it. If you add collections, if you take away collections, it doesn't have to have it. At the end of the day, is your bullet journal aiding you in getting things done in your day? Yes, then it's a bullet journal and it is fine. Does it have bullets in it? Does it have squares in it? Do you mark things off during your day? Do you track habits? Do you do, there's so many different things that bullet journaling has warped into that if it is helping you get by during your day, then it's a bullet journal. That I don't care what anyone says. Grid spacing sheets are useless. I can count on maybe one hand how many times I've used a grid spacing sheet. So for me, this is true to me, because I do not like the grid spacing sheets. I do have a grid, what do I call it? I have a stencil for an A5 and a B5 notebook that has grid spacing automatically, that like you use a pencil. I don't know where one is, but I'll put a picture up here. So I have one of those that I've used way more than a grid spacing sheet. But yeah, the actual writing it down, I think I used it a couple times when I first started a B5, but now I don't really use it. I just use my stencil. So, I mean, I guess it's the same concept, but yeah, I don't use it. Overly designed, oh, and this is the last one. Overly designed journal pages aren't always functional. And I'll agree with that to an extent. I think that I don't care if you have 3 to-do items on a page and everything else is art. If you complete those 3 things during the day and that whole page is overly designed, then I still think it's functional. At the end of the day, it's about, are you accomplishing what you set out to accomplish when you started your bullet journal spread? So if that means being overly designed and spending an hour on a spread, but you still complete all the things that you wanted to complete in the day, then honestly, that makes it functional to me. So I think it's about your outcome versus how things are designed. I think it's the outcome of the day. And to be honest, it may not always be your planner's fault that, or the design of the page's fault that you didn't get things done. We have things in my job called fire drills. If one of my bosses messages me about a fire drill, that means I drop everything and I work on that thing right now because someone needs that right this second. So sometimes that will happen, or my dog will get sick and I need to take her to the vet. So some things happen during the day that, it's not the fact that my planner was over designed. It's just that life happens. And I don't know. At the end of the day, just do your best. I think that's what it all boils down to in the bullet journaling world, is at the end of the day, just do your freaking best. If you are spending your entire day doing a bullet journal spread and therefore don't use it, or you're doing it for YouTube to get YouTube views and you don't actually use it, then, that's different. But if you try your best to get things done and you have a bullet journal to help you aid you, then honestly, good on you. Life is hard. That's what I figured out over the course of my however many years adulting is hard. Life is hard. Being a student is hard. So anything that aids you in getting by in the day, when things are hard, then go for it. So anyways, that is my last bullet journal opinions video, unless you guys ask me to do otherwise. I may have some opinions that come out later, given whatever happens in the community. But I hope you like this series. I will link down to the other ones in the comments down below. And thank you so much for joining me. I had so much fun in this series, and I will see you next time. Bye, everyone.